I rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My fans on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the result. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who we caught up in using what I was called with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while stenciling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawing. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena Horne. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, I'll cast it like hey ya.
Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's number one Chief Rocket Knicks Universe, your main man, Uncle Freezy. Welcome to the premiere Knicks in the Morning Time show. Let me get my phone right. Welcome to the premiere Knicks in the Morning Time show. The Knicks Morning Drive. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Shout out to Just Knicks. Shout out to the big homie Kerry Cox in the building. Shout out to the big homie. Salute y'all. Yo, Just Knicks. Yo, somebody working on Labor Day. Hey man, y'all know what it is, man. Hey, y'all know what it is. I knew all along. I was like, when I get to Labor Day, I'm gonna be here, man. I'm gonna be rocking, man, on Labor Day. I got to see my people. I hadn't done the Knicks morning drive in so long. Y'all knew I was gonna be here, man, when I got the opportunity. Y'all knew I was gonna be here when I got the opportunity, bro. Y'all knew that. Wacko in the building. Let's go. Holla at your boy. Let's go. Jet Life for Life in the building. Salute. Salute. Let's get it. I see y'all piling in here. I see y'all getting in here. Salute, man. I can't wait to get this thing started, bro. I can't wait to get this thing started, bro. I see y'all coming in here. Salute to everybody watching on YouTube. Salute to everybody watching on X. Man, salute to y'all, man. We're gonna have this conversation, man. I'm gonna do some. It's September. It's September, so y'all know what it is. We got to get serious about these topics, man. Michelle in the building. Let's go. Let's go. Yo, I'm hype as hell already. Yo, Michelle in the building. Let's go. Salute to all the members and everybody else that contribute to the greatness of this spot that we call Lawrence Tears, man. Appreciate y'all being here. Appreciate you. Yo, DSJ in the building. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Salute DSJ. DSJ in the building. I already see off rip. This is going to be fun, y'all. Yeah, Wolverines was good. Let's go. I see y'all. I see y'all. Yeah, man. Let's go. I'm ready, y'all. I'm ready. Yeah. What's good, y'all? I see y'all, man. I see y'all. Ribs is in the building. Salute. I see y'all. Delali. What I see. Oh, hot grab. Oh, y'all piling chop low in the building. Salute. Yo, you know we can't even rock without Alfonso Scott being here. So Scotty, be glad you're here. Yeah, man. Salute. So I'm gonna have the conversation. I'm gonna talk about a topic, right? I'm gonna talk about a topic. I'm gonna try to get as in depth as I can, right, with it. The thing is just a topic, just a conversation piece. We just come in here, talk Knicks, having fun. Right? This ain't about being divisive or putting a rock in somebody's shoe, unless it's funny. If it's funny, if we can get a laugh out, if we can put a rock in somebody's shoe and make somebody laugh, you know what I'm saying? Okay, then we'll do it in a loving, trolling way. But you know what I'm saying? I ain't coming here to argue, man. I'm coming in here to just like talk that talk the way that y'all like to have that talk to y'all, right? And I know there's only one person that can do it, and I take that responsibility very heavily, right? Chop low, we lit early, something we here, bro. Let's go. Let's get it. Bro, if y'all remember that song, I think it's a Jay-Z song that say something go like, I'm taking out this time to give you a piece of my mind. Y'all remember Mary J. Blige singing that? The Melissa Morgan song? Yeah, man. So I'm taking out this time to give you a piece of my mind, right? Brandon Williams in the building. Salute. Yo, Latoria B, Tori B in the building. Yo, Tori B and someone else. I can't remember the lady name, but Tori B and someone else is like, I was having a conversation with somebody about 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was like on the edge of like becoming like the queen of like the Knicks kingdom. It was somebody. Yo, it's 6:17 in Greece, bro. At night. That gotta be in the morning. That gotta be 6. Oh, you said okay. All right, 6. Okay, PM. Okay. Yeah, 6 p.m. Yeah. But I was having a conversation with somebody on the telephone. It's like Tori B and another lady is like on the verge of being like the queens of our Knicks kingdom. I can't remember who the other person is. Right. But shout out to them. Right. But per my normal when I start these Knicks morning drives, when I do it during the daytime, I generally start off with my thought. Right. If y'all remember the old process, like I legitimately have like Nick G in the building. Nick G in the building. Ain't you supposed to be at work? Tori B says, thanks for the luck. Not somebody, you already, hey, Tori B, you already know how I feel about my people from the Bronx. But somebody else brought that to my attention though. Like, yo, like legit, like, you know what I'm saying? It's a real thing. I'm like, yeah, I know. They're like, nah, it's a real thing. I'm like, yeah, I appreciate it. Nah, no. And I was like, okay. Nick G says, man, I'm working on these kids. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So I got a thing that I put together. So if it sounds like I'm reading, I have some notes that I'm going by. Right, I got some notes that I'm going by. So I'm gonna try to get this thought off my mind in a way. And y'all pardon me if I sound a little robotic. It's just because I want to get my thought together, right, and put it out here, and then have the conversation about it. So I'm gonna do that. Matter of fact, where's my note at? Where's my note at? All right, y'all bear with me, right? So, because I got a few points, I just want to point them out, and then I want to have the conversation with y'all about it, right? So here goes. So let's talk about it. Karl-Anthony Towns, the New York Knicks starting center, and how he fits into this new role or into this new Mike Brown era. Okay, so Knicks fans, we finally get a taste of what Cat can really do when the lights are the brightest. The 2024-25 playoff run was his coming out party in orange and blue, right? For years, the knock on Towns was that he put up stats, but he didn't really elevate his team when it mattered the most, especially coming from a dude that was the number one pick. But this past spring, he kind of flipped that narrative a little bit, maybe a lot. Think back in that playoff run, Cat gave you dominance in multiple ways. He punished mismatches in the paint, like example of him roasting Jalen Brunson when the Knicks needed points down low. When the Knicks needed scoring because the Pistons' perimeter defense was smothering us, he absolutely torched the Pistons' big men down low, right? Knocking down shots, and he forced big men to kind of leave the paint on threes, right? That opened up the paint for Jalen Brunson. It opened up the paint for OG. Hold on, just 1 second. For OG, for Bridges, for Cameron Payne, for others, for whoever wanted to get downhill, really. And the biggest thing, he was engaged defensively, contesting shots, rotating better, showing pride in protecting the rim. That's the version of Karl-Anthony Towns the Knicks traded for. And that's the version this fan base has been waiting for, right? Now, enter Mike Brown. Knicks fans, this is where things get interesting, right? Because Mike Brown is a coach who built his reputation on discipline, accountability, and defense. He was there when LeBron James was developing in Cleveland. He was there helping shape the Golden State Warriors culture before his stint in Sacramento. He's a guy that preaches effort, team concepts, and mental toughness, right? So here's the question. How does that mesh with Karl-Anthony Towns? Well, on paper, is perfect. Brown is the type of coach who can unlock another gear of Towns. Offensively, you really don't need to change much because Cat is a weapon. Offensively, there probably there is no other center in the NBA with as diverse of an offensive skill set as Karl-Anthony Towns. Now, are there centers that may be better offensively? Jokic is better offensively. But in terms of the diversified offensive weaponry, Cat is the best by far, period. Right? Cat is probably one of the most skilled big men we've ever seen. A 7-footer who can score from all three levels. But defensively, Mike Brown is going to demand this dude lock in, right? Defensively, Mike Brown is going to hold Karl-Anthony Towns accountable defensively, right? Now, for some, it's gonna look like they don't get along. But in order for us to get the best version of Cat, he's got to listen to Mike Brown. Mike Brown is gonna be in this dude's. He's gonna be on Cat's back, so to speak. He's gonna demand the communication. He's gonna demand that Cat use his size, his mobility, his IQ, not to just be a decent defender, but be an anchor. So look, Cat don't need to be Hakeem Olajuwon. He don't need to be Dikembe Mutombo. What he needs to be is reliable. That's it. Cat just needs to be reliable. That's it. Right? He needs to protect the rim, control the glass, and make teams think twice about attacking the Knicks inside. If Mike Brown can pull that off, if Towns embraces that challenge, the Knicks' overall ceiling is higher than it may have ever been. Now think about this. Brunson running the offense, OG and Bridges locking down the wings, Cat holding down the paint, and Mike Brown putting all these pieces together within a unique and original defensive structure. That's a recipe, not just for another playoff run, but for contending deep into May and June. How does that make us feel, right? So, Nixon, y'all, everybody watching, happy Labor Day. The conversation this morning is this. We've seen Karl-Anthony Towns dominate offensively. We saw glimpses, tiny glimpses of him stepping up defensively in the playoffs this postseason. With Mike Brown now at the helm, is this the moment where Cat finally cements his legacy? Not just as a talented big, but as the two-way franchise center the Knicks have been waiting for. Right? Right. So I know that was a mouthful. Right? I know that was a mouthful. But here's the thing. Here's my thing, right? The reason why I feel like we have to have the Karl-Anthony Towns conversation is because of this. We watched the Patrick Ewing era where Pat was legit on the floor, seemingly by himself, seemingly. No disrespect to the players that played with Cat, but no one was even close to the greatness of Patrick Ewing. No one. Patrick Ewing never played with a player that was half as good as he was. Pat Ewing never played, as a Knick, Pat Ewing never played with a player that had as much talent as he. Right? We watched the Carmelo years, right? We watched the Carmelo years. Carmelo never got a guy to play with him that was as good as or more talented as Carmelo. Right? The Carmelo years, y'all knew we were constantly grabbing, trying to find a guy to complement Carmelo Anthony through coaching changes, through drama, through this, through that, through all of this stuff. We couldn't find a alpha to play with Carmelo. That's been the Knicks' Achilles heel for maybe the past 50 years. Having two bona fide all-star level, all NBA type of guys that legit could play and dominate together. The 1-2 punch. Especially at guard. But now you have your guard. Right? We have the hard part figured out. The easy part is the part that we would get right, but we never had a dominant guard in the past 50 years that could play with another dominant wing or big. And now not only do we have that, we also have dominant wings. So we have the dominant guard and the dominant big. They're better than everyone else on the roster, right? And we also have the complementary excellent wing players, right? Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby. We have great wing depth. Right? So what does that mean for this upcoming season? What does it mean for Cat? What does it mean for Brunson? What does it mean for Mike Brown? What does it mean for the wing trio? What does it mean for the bench? Well, I want to talk about Cat. Right? What does it mean for Cat? Let's talk about Cat. You need me for something? Hold on. Sorry about that, y'all. Breakfast orders. Breakfast orders. Man. Danny Landis is in the building. Salute, Danny. Danny, what's good, bro? Happy Labor Day, boss. Yep, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. So here are the should I, you know what? I'm just gonna do them. I'm just gonna do this one at a time. Right. I was gonna give all 4 talking points at one time. Right. I was gonna do first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. But instead of doing that, man, I'm just gonna do it like one step at a time. How about we do it like this? How about we talk about this first? How about we talk about this first, right? So Cat's playoff run legitimately showed me that if you incorporate your big as a star and not just as a bailout, he can dominate. Right? Like if you tell Cat, we need you to be big, Cat dominates. But when Cat starts a game 3 for 3, a putback, a 3-pointer, and a dunk, and then you take the ball away from Cat and go other places on the floor and cool him off, the defense didn't affect Cat. The offense affected Cat. right? When Cat legitimately starts with an offensive rebound putback off a missed shot, right? A straight on three that's cotton, and then a seal down low where he just pins his man and then dunks. Should have got the foul call, but didn't. Cat just scored you 7 straight points, 3 for 3 from the field. But the thing that cools Cat off is not the defense making an adjustment. Other guys start chucking threes and get Cat out of rhythm just like that. And then instead of letting him cook, he finishes the first half with 9 points and then finishes the game with 12 points. And you wonder why Cat was not effective. That's offense. The defense didn't adjust. They had no answer. The defense had no answer for Cat. Their answer was, A, let somebody dribble on our lengthy defender. There's a mismatch in the corner where we have Siakam guarding Josh Hart. But since Josh Hart's not an offensive weapon, right? Since Josh is not an offensive threat, now Siakam can take on that mismatch and you could put other mismatches on the floor. So the fact that you had Cat killing his man, but a wing player is guarding Brunson and Bridges couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, now you're like, okay, where's OG at? Well, OG was hitting shots at an average clip, like what, 43, 44% from the floor in the playoffs. That's decent for the playoffs, but that's not sustainable. You can't win with that. My question is, if the guy started off 3 for 3, Ivory 10 in the building. My question is, if Cat starts off a game 3 for 3, do you not let him cook? I think Cat was 3 for 3. He came down, he missed a 3, and then they went away from him. HRM is in the building. Salute. I think the embracing of, and this is no disrespect to Jalen Brunson, because y'all know I love Jalen Brunson, right? I think he's probably on his way to being the second or third. Brunson is on his way to being a top 5 Knicks guard of all time, right? He's not going to be better than Richie Guerin. He's not going to be better than Clyde Frazier. He's not going to be better than Pearl Monroe, right? That's 3 names. But other names on that list, possibly. The point that I'm getting at is, in order for there to be a Batman and Robin, Batman has to be willing to have a sidekick. Yo, Moosa's in the building. Salute. Happy Labor Day. I got a topic for tomorrow, y'all. It's centered around this. I have a topic for tomorrow. It's centered around this. And I think I'm just going to give a preview. It's centered around this. I don't think it's going to end the way we think it's going to end. That's just a preview of that. Y'all know I have these thoughts, but I have to separate all these thoughts, right? In order for us not to just sound like a rambler, right? Maybe we'll talk about it. Maybe we'll talk about it tonight on the Knicks at Night podcast. That'll be what we talk about tonight on the Knicks at Night podcast. But as for today, as for this moment, as for right now, our Batman has to be willing to have a Robin, or our Justice League, our Superman has to be willing to let Batman, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, I keep forgetting the half computer guy. I don't know why I keep forgetting the half computer guy name. I always forget his name too, by the way. It's just not right here. I always forget his name. The half computer guy, the guy that's split in half. He like half man, half machine. I always forget his name. Somebody in the chat remind me of the dude in the Justice League, the half machine, half man guy. But anyways, on the Jalen Brunson thing, Cyborg, that's his name. That's his name, Cyborg, right? Will our Superman of the Justice League allow for Batman, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Wonder Twins, whoever, to be in those roles and help this thing? And the reason why that's a question is not because Jalen Brunson's a selfish player, because he's not. Jalen Brunson is not a selfish player. I just want to clarify that. Jalen Brunson is not a selfish player. But what comes into question is this. In order to go from where Jalen Brunson was to where he is now, you have to have an incredible belief in yourself. Like, I can do it. I can do it. You have to have an incredible belief in yourself. Like, I can do it. When the chips are down, I'll come through. Right? And for years as a Knick, Jalen Brunson had to be that guy. I can do this. I can do this. And you don't want to shake his belief in himself, right? You want him to believe that he can do it. But then there's that delicate balance of, I have to use all my resources in order to get there. Because Jalen Brunson believing I can do it, and Cat knowing that he can do it, but he's not the alpha guy, is that delicate balance. The comparison that I like to use is Mike and Scotty, where Scotty can do a lot of the things that Mike does and better, but Mike can elevate his game to another gear, right? Right? Like, he can elevate his gear to be better than John Starks, right? And then he'll face Reggie Miller and be like, oh, it's a new challenge. I'll elevate my game to be better than Reggie Miller. And then there's a new challenge, a Clyde Drexler. And he'll be like, well, I can elevate my game to be better than Clyde Drexler. And then there's the dream team Mike that plays against Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and all them guys in practice. And he's like, yo, I'll elevate my game to be even better than all the GOATs of the game. Right? I don't know if Jalen Brunson has some of that. I don't know if Karl-Anthony Towns has any of that, if that makes sense to everybody. Right? I don't know if Karl-Anthony Towns every night says, I'm better than Sabonis and Embiid and Wemby I don't know if Karl-Anthony Towns can say, I'm going to take Victor Wembanyama to the woodshed like Mike does Starks and Reggie Miller and Drexler and Bird, Magic, whoever, Stockton, whoever. Right? And so my thing is in this delicate statement I'm making should let everyone know how delicate it is for Jalen Brunson, who can do this on his own, give up some of that responsibility to someone probably more physically gifted than he, that has the ability to do some of these things, and then trust them to do those things. When you don't practice, when you're incorporating new talent and you don't practice these guys together, you never know. Right? Since the team had limited practices last year in order to stay healthy, when you incorporate new talent, you don't know. Right? Do I blame the previous coach for not practicing and not playing the kids? Nah, because he went all in on a championship and we just didn't get there for whatever reason. We didn't get there. It's water under the bridge now. It's history. Right? But when you don't practice and you only see results on game night against elevated competition, it makes you question if you can trust each other in these crucial moments. In games, Cat has to give the ball to Brunson and get out of the way. Right? Give the ball to Brunson and get out of the way. The offense was, in these crucial moments, run the pick and roll for Jalen Brunson and everyone else space out and get out of the way. But when you didn't practice, you don't know what Cat can do. All you knew is what you saw on tape, what you saw in training camp, what you kind of fumbled your way through in the preseason because it was an abridged thing because you didn't get a chance to work out with each other during the summer to see what you can do. So what does that mean? Like I say all that stuff and like, what does that mean really? What that means really is that Karl-Anthony Towns in the playoffs showed us that he could be that guy. Mikal Bridges defensively showed us defensively in the playoffs he could be that guy. Mitchell Robinson defensively showed us he could be that guy. Right? These guys at moments showed that they can be that guy, but the only thing is you don't see that on a regular day-to-day, everyday basis because you don't practice. Right? I don't see that. So what does that mean for Cat? Cat showed you in spots in the playoffs when he is in a position to thrive, he can thrive. But when he's not, you're wasting an asset. Right? And so while I'm not ready to say that Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns are equals in terms of effectiveness and such, I do know Karl-Anthony Towns is the more talented and skilled player, pound for pound, considering size, right? But I do know that Jalen Brunson is Weapon X. Excuse me. I do know Jalen Brunson is a weapon. Right? Jalen Brunson is a weapon unleashed. Right? We know Cat is more talented, the more talented player. One guy was drafted in the second round, the other guy was the number one pick of his very talented draft class. One guy was the number one pick in a draft that had Devin Booker, Kristaps Porzingis, a bunch of talented people in it. D'Angelo Russell, bunch of people in his class, and he was by far the better prospect than everybody in that draft class. At the time. I'm talking about at the time. Right? Ultimately, what that means is the talent is there. Right? Can Mike Brown make this thing mesh? Can the front office make this thing mesh and this thing come all together to put together a championship level team? I know you guys have been waiting for this, right? I know you guys are waiting for this offensive versatility that unlocks the Knicks. I know y'all been waiting to talk about this forever. And quite frankly, me too. There were some things with training camp being about 2 or 3 weeks away, right? With training camp being about 2 or 3 weeks away, I as a fan don't necessarily want to get into what the offense looks like and have it be a declarative statement. My statement on what the Knicks offense would look like is presumptuous. Because even though Mike Brown was an assistant coach in Golden State, he was an assistant coach for the Indiana Pacers, the Malice in the Palace Pacers. Even though he was in San Antonio, I think, or something, I don't want to presume or put on record what the Knicks are going to run in the half court. Because the Knicks roster is totally different from all those teams that were aforementioned. All the aforementioned teams had separate, distinct, talent-like players, and none of them are the same. De'Aaron Fox is not the type of point guard Jalen Brunson or Steph Curry is. Right? The Golden State Warriors and this version of the New York Knicks are not similar roster construction. You can draw some parallels, but the Knicks don't have the three-point shooting and the aggressiveness offensively as those Golden State Warriors teams. These are just facts. These are facts. Right, these are facts. We have to wait and see, basically. So we'll have to wait till training camp and see. But I do anticipate. I anticipate more ball movement aggressively up and down the floor and in the half court side to side. I anticipate the half court offense looking like a blender, a lot of movement, a lot of moving parts, nobody stationary. If you're catch and shoot, you legit are catch and shoot off the move as opposed to catch and shoot in a stationary position. Right? Catch and shoot doesn't mean you have to stay in a spot for 12 seconds. Excuse me. One last thing about Cat, and then I want to open up for questions, right? One last thing about Cat, and then I want to open up for questions. So I'm going to put this thing here. Where did it go? There it is. As I prepared to get here and rock with y'all, something in my mind kept bugging me. And so I guess it's the big question. Does Jalen Brunson, or do Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns have two-way star potential that has not been unlocked? Can Jalen Brunson be a two-way star? Can Karl-Anthony Towns be a two-way star? Before we knee-jerk an answer, I think we probably have to think about what elements have to be in place for them to shake their reputation as bad defenders and become decent to good defenders. Before we knee-jerk it, everybody, before we blurt out the answer like, no, no, before we do that, what would it take for Jalen Brunson? What does Jalen Brunson have to improve on in order to be a good defender? What does Cat need to do in order to be a good defender? In my mind, is not as simple as the height size ratio or being clumsy or being slow. I don't think it's that. Oh, is that for me? Okay. 1 second. Ms. Mocha said, hey, everybody, y'all better say hey back. Oh, I'm going to be in trouble. So Yeah. So what would it take for Jalen Brunson and Cat to be decent to good defenders, maybe above average defenders? Is it something that can never happen because of their physical limitations? Or is it about watching film? Is it about focusing on defense, right? Is it about body position? Is it about knowing what the other team needs to run, right? Is it just about athletic ability or is it about watching film, right? Is it about dialing in? Is it about communication? Is it about checking your ego and letting others tell you where you need to be? Right? Hey, I appreciate y'all. Well wishes, y'all, and saying good morning to the missus. She's very important to this, right? Like when I get here, legit, it's because she helped me organize some stuff in order for me to get here and rock with y'all. It's kind of like a parent taking their kid to a play date. Like she does all the stuff so I can get up here with my friends and play around for a little bit. Appreciate y'all, man, for that. So when it comes to the big question about the two-way star potential, is it just about just being a superior athlete? And if you're not a superior athlete, you can't be a good defender? Or is it about maybe some of those hours of watching film can be spent on what the other team's defense is doing? I mean, the other team's offense wants to do. Is it about shaking off missed shots? Like when you miss a shot. So here's the thing for y'all that have played, y'all know what I'm saying. Is it about like if you've ever played basketball and you missed an easy shot that you thought you should have made, and when somebody get the rebound and when you coming back down the floor, you're thinking like, how did I miss that shot? A lot of us do it. We do it in our jobs, like presentations. If we don't nail it the way we thought we should have nailed it, we're thinking like, how did I not nail that? Like, how did I not get that sale? Or how did I not convert this such and such? Instead of thinking, hey, I got to pick up my man defensively. I got to clear my mind on that shot and just, dial in and get a stop defensively. Is being a two-way star a mindset? Is being a two-way star a mindset where you think, hey, you know what? Like, hey, you know what? Instead of me thinking I'm an offensive weapon, nobody can stop me, I'm thinking like, I'm going to be, for Cat, the standard should be, I'm going to be David Robinson type, right? An offensive dynamo and a shot blocker. I know Cat will never be that, y'all. I'm saying the mindset shift. The mindset shift. Right? The mindset shift. I don't know if Jalen Brunson and two-way potential can be a thing. What I want to do though is talk to you guys about that at a later date, because to me it's more complex than what's on the surface. Do you solely focus on your offense? Or do you focus on some defense? Do you go from 90% offense and 10% defense in preparation. I'm talking about preparation, right? Do you shift that to maybe 70-30 in preparation, or dare I even say 60-40 in preparation? All right, so with that, man, I'm going to open it up, man. I want to get your thoughts on everything that y'all heard and tell me what y'all want to talk about for the next few moments, right? What's y'all thoughts? What are your thoughts? HRM says, better shape, man. Pat Riley used to drill us to death. Yeah, Tibbs used to have these dudes practicing 3-4 hours a day. Is it a personnel issue? Let me know what's on your mind. I think we got like 3 minutes and some change left. Y'all let me know. What are y'all thoughts? Wacko says, Sabonis plays center for Mike Brown in Sacramento. Cat is a center. Knicks fix. Hey, B-ball 100. Yeah. Sherwin says, happy Labor Day. Hey, happy Labor Day, Sherwin. Brunson does all the best things he can, being he is undersized and slow. I say the same for Cat. Yeah. Okay. The slow part, Cat's not undersized. Cat's huge, bro. Karl-Anthony Towns is a big person, bro. And Wacko says, Cat is not chasing Jason Tatum, Julius Randle, Scotty Barnes, Paolo, Siakam around the perimeter. Cat is a center. Get over it. Right, basically. Right. Hey, hit him up, said he'd love to have Dawn Staley as the coach. I like Dawn Staley. I'm in South Carolina, by the way. Yeah. If y'all didn't see, just in these last few moments, if y'all didn't see my thoughts on the goodness of Josh Hart, him being a Swiss Army knife, I advise y'all check that out. About how a Swiss Army knife is deployed by the user. The Swiss Army knife can do a lot of stuff. And depending on who the user is, he may have a preference, right? If the user of the Swiss Army knife only uses the Swiss Army knife as a screwdriver, you never see what the corkscrew, the scissors, the nail clipper, trimmer, and all of that stuff can do, because the user only uses a screwdriver on it. So if you hadn't seen that, then I would advise checking that part out, right? To shine some light on how well built this roster is. I would advise checking that out. I'm gonna get out of here, everybody. Happy Labor Day. I hope you enjoyed being here as much as I did. Don't eat too much. I know I will.
I rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes?